You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet.
This is Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook and stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktails series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, The Doug Stewart Show, Sports Talk with Hot Sauce.
Yeah!
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW. This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the #1 thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5ElectronicsInc.com. That's System5ElectronicsInc.com.
You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Do you want that real sports talk? Unfiltered, unsanitized? Well, you have found it. This is a revolution in radio. The realest, trillest sports talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show. This is sports talk for the people. Yeah! This is a revolution in radio. What's happening? Thank you for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. I really, really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. It's a Monday, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. we had to bring it back one time. Yes. Man Talk Monday. Ballas and Bustas. Everything that went down over the past weekend. You can give me a call at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. I feel good, man. How about you? Feeling good? Feeling great? How about you? All right, man. So obviously a lot of great things to get into from this past weekend. We need your ballers and your busters. We're going to talk, obviously, about the NCAA tournament. We're going to talk about Michael Sam. We're going to talk about OKC and Westbrook. Russell Westbrook still doing the thing. Greg Hardy in Dallas is a little bit of backlash from that. There's a lot of things we're going to get into, man, on today's show for the next 2 hours. If you're a new listener, And we may have some new listeners because I was on Tom Joyner this morning. I was the TJMS this morning. Shouts out to you, Tom, and the show and the crew. And I was on there this morning, so every time I do like a little segment like that, I get a lot of new listeners. So if you're a new listener to the Doug Stewart Show, thank you very much for tuning in and checking it out. And trust me, we have more fun in these 2 hours than any other show in America for the most part. I mean, we do. We do. We talk sports. We talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about, really, to be honest with you. Whatever's entertaining and whatever's captivating your minds in America, that's what we do on the Doug Stewart Show. So shouts out to Tom Joyner. Shouts out to the morning show and everybody that's listening to the Doug Stewart Show for the first time. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. All right, so my bracket's in the trash. And I'm sure yours is too. A ton of big upsets, so we'll get into that in the next segment. It's something I wanted to touch upon, man, and I kind of touched upon this last week when the news first came out. I think the news came out on Friday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And that's Steve Nash. Okay, now, I'm not a fan of Steve Nash. I think I actually put him in my top 5 athletes I don't like of all time. And really, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that I think he's overhyped. And so Steve Nash calls it a career this past weekend. 19 years in the NBA. And let me say this from the very start. Steve Nash was a fantastic player. Okay? So I got to say that, at the onset because people are twisted up and they'll misconstrue what I'm saying. Steve Nash was a fantastic player in his career, obviously. I mean, the dude had a tremendous skill set. He's a great player. But Steve Nash was tremendously overhyped. He was. He was, bottom line, tremendously overhyped. When people talk about Steve Nash, they talk about him in the conversation with, some of the best players of all time. And like an all-time great. And one of the top, 5, 6, 7, 8 point guards of all time. Steve Nash wasn't that, man. Steve Nash wasn't that. Steve Nash to me, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, Steve Nash to me was a guy that was he is probably the prototypical, the most prime example you can come up with of a system player. And you know what I'm talking about. He played in Phoenix with Mike D'Antoni, and they tried to shoot the ball within 7 seconds, and they ran up and down the court. And it definitely played onto his skill set and what he did best. But that's exactly what he was a system player. And you can even look back a couple of years later, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and you can look at what Jeremy Lin did in New York under Mike D'Antoni's system as well. Jeremy Lin for 2 weeks, under that D'Antoni system was the greatest point guard since sliced bread. He was dominating. They couldn't stop him. He was scoring. He was getting assists. He looked exactly like Steve Nash. He did. You can't deny that. You go back and remember that time when Jeremy Lin was dominating for those 2-3 weeks in New York. He was Steve Nash 2.0. And then when he leaves Mike D'Antoni, what is he, the 30th ranked point guard in the NBA? I mean, Jeremy Lin, he's a good player. He's a player in the NBA. I mean, that's it. But under that D'Antoni system, which why we label Steve Nash as a system player, he was phenomenal, okay? And to me, it just really bothers me. It really bothers me, man, when guys don't get the kudos or they don't get the hype and the adulation that they deserve. They don't. And what I'm talking about is Steve Nash's same draft class that he came out. Listen to this, and I just posted this on Twitter. In Steve Nash's draft class, he was drafted in the same class with Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson. Did you know that Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant only have one NBA MVP award? Yes. Clearly two of the best players of all time. Much more accomplished. That's right, studio audience. I know it's crazy. Much more accomplished than Steve Nash. What does Kobe have? 5 rings. Allen Iverson took his damn team to the NBA Finals by him damn self. Okay? Steve Nash ain't even seen hide nor hair of an NBA Finals, man. I mean, he hasn't. The man has not been to an NBA Finals, and they talk about him like he's the second coming of Magic Johnson. And that's just not the case. You know what? Another thing that really pissed me off about Steve Nash that people just conveniently forget about? Steve Nash might have been, and let me sit back and think if I can think of anybody else. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Steve Nash may have been the worst defender in basketball history. Steve Nash couldn't guard you, man. Steve Nash couldn't guard you. He couldn't guard anybody. He couldn't guard nobody. I remember, and for some reason, I don't know why this particular guy's name is coming up, but I remember Sam Cassell used to make Steve Nash his bitch. He did. Sam Cassell used to be happy when he saw Steve Nash step onto the court because he knew he was going for 30. Jason Terry used to kill Steve Nash. Yeah, I mean, it's not his fault. It's not his fault that he can't move his feet quick. It's not his fault. Well, Steve Nash wasn't as great a player as people let you believe, man. I'm telling you. 2 MVPs? The man won 2 most valuable player awards in the NBA during the same time when Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal were dominating and winning rings. And I actually pulled up a story this morning. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I actually pulled up a story where Shaq actually went in on that whole thing where Nash won that MVP, or the second MVP in particular, and Shaq didn't really hold his tongue. He didn't. He didn't because I'm pretty sure, and I've had conversations with some people offline that have been very close to the NBA. I'm not going to tell you whether coach, player, or whatever. And it's almost like it's one of those things that, you know, is behind the scenes talk and conversation about how ridiculous it is for Steve Nash to win 2 MVPs. Unbelievable, man. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Do you disagree with me? I mean, seriously. I mean, Steve Nash, nice player, man. Once again, fantastic player. Actually a fantastic player, but not as fantastic as you would be led to believe. I mean, just not. Just not. What are your thoughts? Am I off base? If I'm off base, I know I'm not off base. But if I'm off base, tell me why I'm off base. Tell me why everything I just talked about in the last 5 minutes ain't gospel. You know, system player. Jeremy Lin was just as good when in that same system. He's basically, in effect, while giving him 2 MVPs, you're saying that he had better years, one-time years than Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson. And the man never been to the finals. He's never even sniffed the finals. And he was the worst defender in the history of basketball. Yeah. I mean, seriously. What do you think? Call me a hater. I'm fine with that. You call me whatever you want. I keeps it real. And I'm going to give you that opinion that all sports talk radio is not going to give you. Because, you know, Steve Nash is some type of hero. I don't get it. But I'll keep it real. I give you a real, passionate, serious, on-point, precise sports take on the Doug Stewart Show. That's what I do. Oh, man. I feel like I'm in the barbershop. Or in the basement. Or under the shade tree or something like that. Yeah, talking about Steve Nash. Yeah, make an argument for the guy. When we get back, man, we're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. I'm going to read your chat, get your thoughts on my Steve Nash rant, I guess you'd call it. But, yeah, we're going to really focus on college basketball when we get back from the break, all right? Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Okay, Steve Nash, gotta be freaking kidding me. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's Doug at thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's Doug at thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! The Doug Stewart Show. The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show. If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the number one thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, you own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736. Or online at System5ElectronicsInc.com. That's System5ElectronicsInc.com. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so we're gonna get more into that Steve Nash topic, man. What are your thoughts on that? And for the record, once again, I got to preface everything I say. Steve Nash was a great player, but he wasn't that damn great. He wasn't too MVP great. In effect, that's what I'm saying. He was a great player. Obviously, he was a great player. Fantastic player. Fantastic skill set. But he wasn't that damn great of a player to win 2 freaking MVPs. Get out of here. Miss me with that, as the young people say. Just miss me with that. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug at thedougstewartshow.com. This segment is brought to you by System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as low as $16.50 per month. That's fantastic, man. They've been around for over 25 years, man. Just a great company. If you're not happy with your current alarm system company, man, check out my folks. Give them an opportunity to come out and talk with you about your security alarm system and what's something that would be good and works for you and your family. So check them out online at System 5, the number 5. That's System5ElectronicsInc.com. That's System5ElectronicsInc.com. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug at thedougstewartshow.com. The easy way to be totally interactive with the show, though, is to jump on the chat line or in the chat room on Spreaker.com and just be totally interactive. So go to Spreaker.com, follow the show, hit the little follow button, and then jump in the chat room and be totally interactive. I read chat all day long. That's what makes this show what it is. Like the listeners and the people in the chat room are kind of like my co-hosts. They my wingmen. And so I read a lot of chat, and I'll get to a lot of that in a second. A couple of things. A couple of ball awards go out to some teams this past weekend in the NCAA tournament. I think I should mention at least. Shots out and ball award to Coach Ron Hunter and the Georgia State Panthers, man. As they really shocked the world in beating, as a 14 seed, they beat the number 3 seed Baylor Bears Then they eventually lost in the next round, but still a great weekend for that program. Made it last year to the tournament as well. This year they win a game. They actually beat a much lower seed. Son hit the big shot to beat Baylor, to go ahead in Baylor. He falls off his little scooter thing he has or whatever on the sideline. And then in the press conference after they lose, man, shows some real emotions and cries, and Coach Hunter and his son cry together. And so it was a fantastic scene, man. Ball award to those guys. And we actually talked to Coach Hunter at the beginning of the year, and I gave him some stew magic. I did, if y'all remember that. I gave Coach Hunter some stew magic. And so great little run there, nice, cute little run there for Georgia State. We're trying to get him on the show again this week, I guess, for kind of like a recap, so stay tuned for that. We'll try to get Coach Ron Hunter on the show. Also, Wichita State, man, they get a ball award. They beat Kansas in kind of like an in-state rivalry, I guess you'd call it. And word on the street is Bill Self and Kansas have been ducking Wichita State. This is the first time these guys played each other in 22 years. They're in the same state. They're like 180 miles apart, something crazy like that. Why wouldn't you give them a shot? The Shockers give them a shot. And so they get the opportunity, man, and they go ahead and they beat Wichita State, or they beat Kansas. So shouts out to Wichita State. They get a baller award as well. I'll be giving out my own Ballas and Bustas from this past weekend on the Doug Stewart Show today, all throughout today. I got to give you birthdays as well. We got a lot of stuff to get into, but we're going to definitely do it. Let me go ahead and read, let's see, what do we got here? And I don't see the chat. I'm looking for the chat. Oh, something's wrong with my chat thing right now, but we'll get back to that in a second. The number is 404-382-0338. Also, a ball award goes to third seed in the South bracket, Iowa State. They really screwed my bracket up. I had them in the Final Four. You know they lose in the first round to UAB. Everybody's bracket pretty much went in the trash after that. They obviously lose in the next round, but shouts out to UAB, the Blazers, and getting a big win in the NCAA tournament this weekend. So, in effect, what you're looking at, man, is the Sweet 16 teams that we have left right now. Kentucky still handling their business. So you got Kentucky and West Virginia in the next round, the Sweet 16. Notre Dame versus Wichita State. North Carolina State, another team that shocked the world in beating Villanova in the second round, the round of 32. They take on Louisville, who a lot of people were really down on this year and talking about the NCAA tournament and thinking that they wouldn't really progress, but they made it to the Sweet 16 under Rick Pitino. Oklahoma and Michigan State, another interesting matchup. Michigan State and Tom Izzo, man. Tom Izzo just continues to coach his ass off. This is the 11th time, okay? This is the 11th time that Tom Izzo, has won an NCAA tournament game as an underdog, as a lower seed. So congratulations to him and to that Michigan State program, man. Ball award goes to those guys. Wisconsin's still in there. They get a win. They kind of pull away from Oregon on yesterday as well. So Wisconsin taking on North Carolina, who's a wishy-washy team. You don't know which Carolina team you're going to get. A lot of people want to give Roy Williams a Buster Award, and I actually nominated him for a BP award last week. So you got Wisconsin and North Carolina in the Western bracket, and then you got Xavier and Arizona. A lot of people feel like Arizona is one of those teams to beat. Duke, Utah, UCLA, and Gonzaga as well in that bottom bracket, the bottom half of that bracket in the NCAA tournament. Now, to me, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, to me it looks like that Duke and Kentucky are on a crash course for the national championship game. And I mentioned this morning on the Tom Joyner Show. It just looks like it, man. The best player in the country, Jahlil Okafor, and the best team, the best players as far as one team with Kentucky this year in basketball. It's not even close. I want to see that. That'll be good. That'll be good. And then you got great play by the young players in Duke as well. So I'm thinking that's going to happen. I'm hoping, I guess, that's what's going to happen as far as the two final teams in the NCAA tournament. Duke and Kentucky, that would just be phenomenal. All right, let me read some of this chat here, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. From Max Jones, BPA nominee for this week goes to that clown that called Monet a slut. She's a 14-year-old kid. I would whip his ass on sight, and she's not even my child. Real talk, straight hater. Yeah. Ronald Cameron, Nash was good, but not too MVP good. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Ronald Cameron's basically agreeing with me. Steve Nash was great, but he wasn't too MVP great. I mean, that was just preposterous. Jersey Vern, Nash couldn't wear my Jersey Vern, I don't want to talk about your jock, but Steve Nash could wear your jock as far as basketball. From William Mack, crazy thing, Nash came to Phoenix when Barkley was still there, him and Michael Finley, and I thought Nash was no better than average. And he went to Dallas and turned into a dog. And going back to Phoenix with D'Antoni catapulted him into a different stratosphere. Yeah. Not that much success in Dallas. Obviously, they let him go. And you always saw the potential in Nash, but not to MVP potential. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Niners for life. Nash played with ballers everywhere he went. Vince Wright. Wow, Doug. Settle. I disagree a little, Doug. Did Nash steal Doug's lady or something? Throwing morning shade on Nash. Yeah, I'll do that. In the famous words of, who was it? What's his name? The rapper, Reggie Noble. Redman. I'll be that. Niner for life. Cassell was just as good as Nash, but ugly as homemade said. Come on, man. Stop with that. Yes, Sam Cassell probably wouldn't win any beauty pageants. He probably wouldn't. But Sam Cassell was a baller player, man. He was a great player. And I probably would take Sam Cassell over Steve Nash as well. I would, yeah. I mean, really, if you got guys standing on the sideline and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, so you got some of the best point guards, quote unquote, best point guards of all time on the sideline at the courts, at the playground, and you have your option between Steve Nash, and Sam Cassell. All right. Now I know it sounds kind of crazy when you make that comparison, but what I'm telling you is the fact. Word. Sam Cassell used to kill Steve Nash. I mean, he used to kill him. I don't know why, for some reason that name pops into my mind, but he used to kill him. Sam Cassell was a very solid point guard. What would it have been like, and this is where you play radio, like how would Sam Cassell have been into that Mike D'Antoni system? I mean, how would he have been? What type of player would he have been? Now, I would give Nash this. Nash is probably, and I think it's proven by stats, probably a better three-point shooter. But getting your own shot, getting to the basket, not coming off of screens, Sam Cassell could get to the basket. Sam Cassell could handle that rock. Steve Nash wasn't that great of a ball handler as well. I'm telling you, he wasn't. Gerald, Steve Nash would be the next basketball player in those State Farm commercials with Chris Paul. Laugh out loud. Kiss my go to hell. BPA to Suge Knight's big ass for passing out in the court. Yeah. Or not on the court. Oh, yeah, I get it. The court. In court. Yeah. Suge Knight's, I think he's been to court 4 times in a row, and every single time this ninja's just falling out. And I don't know if Suge is just using the system to his benefit, where he just wants to go to the hospital and get some good food and some relaxation and get out of the pen, get out of the hole. I don't know what it is, but this isn't a coincidence. I mean, you just don't magically do everything that you need to do and have to do to get to the courthouse and then get to the courthouse and fall out. So that's very strange, and he's been nominated for a BPA by Kiss My Go to Hell. I'm not nominating him, but BPA, Kiss My Go to Hell is nominating, so he is nominated for a BPA this week. All right, this is the Doug Stewart Show. Sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce. Buster Award goes to Jay Wright and Villanova. Jay Wright looked good in them suits, looked like Tarzan. Coaches like Jane, and they go down again. Shouts out to North Carolina State. ACC handling their business. Ball Award goes to them, to the Wolf Pack. Yeah. When we get back from the break, man, Michael Sam in the news. Michael Sam in the news. This guy, Michael Sam. Don't go anywhere. This is the Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
So I'm probably 6. So Jesse Bryant rolls by, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He rolls by in his truck, and for some reason, something in my mind says, pick up a rock and throw it at Jesse. And I hit his truck. And not only did I hit his truck, it was a damn good throw and aim because it hit his windshield. And it cracked his windshield. So he stops and jumps out of the truck. I don't think anybody saw me, but he jumps out and, Isaac, so your grandson hit my truck with a rock. They had a little conversation. I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And sure enough, my grandfather walks up and sees this nick on the windshield. And Jesse rolls away, and I know I'm in trouble. My daddy not around, my mother not around, and my grandfather reaches down, and this is God is my witness. Strike me down right here. My grandfather reaches down and pulls off a branch from a rose bush. Yes, just drags his arm and pulls off the leaves. Thorns are still applied to said switch. You get your ass whooped with a switch is bad enough, but a thorny switch? Oh my gosh. So he commences to busting my ass with a thorny switch. Yes. And you know I was marked up from head to toe. Now, that's probably child abuse. Not saying that what Adrian Peterson didn't do was child abuse either, but that was child abuse. That's a deadly weapon. And this is no lie. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. If you're not stewing, what in the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. You can give me a call at 404-382-0338. The show is live Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And, chat room on Spreaker.com is on fire. What did I do this weekend, man? Didn't really do anything eventful. You know what I did do? I watched, I went to church. And I got another story about that in a second. But I went to church. I also watched this American Crime thing that everybody's been telling me about. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I watched all 3 episodes, and I like it. It's pretty good. I already know who did it. I'm telling you. I already know who did it, but I'm going to save that. American Crime. It's got Regina King. And I think I read somewhere that it's kind of, or not kind of, some of the producers or the directors for that movie Crash did this. And so that's why it kind of feels like that same type of cinematography or whatever. So, yeah, I watched that. I also went to church yesterday. And, let me ask y'all a question, man. How y'all feel about the mimes in church, man? Are y'all okay with that? Kind of. And I'm talking like Larry David here. If you ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, kind of. Kind of creepy. And Tree joins me on the show right now. My producer, Tree. What's up? I mean, what's the deal with the mimes? The mimes was pop locking yesterday, and I don't know if that fits with church. You know.
Of course you don't, because we know that you prefer to be in an old white church, stomping your feet, no instruments.
Yeah. Instruments do kind of throw me off too. And listen, I readily admit that I'm very old school in thinking and very country in my ways as far as church goes. So, mimes pop locking and women out there praise dancing. I'm trying to get it.
It's an expression of their worship. Worship is not confined to a box. And you yourself said Mrs. Stew was weeping at the sight.
Yeah, the mimes had my wife crying. I'm like, what's the matter with you? They pop locking up there. Nah, but it really hit her. The last part of it, and I wish I could show people what they did.
I recorded that.
You do? Put it on the Doug Stewart Show. On the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group page.
I'll put it up there when we're done today.
So the very end, these two guys, it was two mimes. Another thing, one of the guys, I think some of the paint got in his eyes. He kept blinking. But at the very end, one guy lifted the other guy up on his back and carried him kind of like Jesus on the cross. That was really cool. It's just I'm country, all right? And once again, I readily admit that. And praise dancing, Larry David voice. I guess I just got to get used to it. Happy birthday to Kyrie Irving, man. He turns 23. Kyrie Irving is only 23 years old? What? This man got another 15 years in the NBA. For 23, Kyrie Irving's game is so nasty. Who would you rather have in the prime of their career? Would you rather have Kyrie Irving right now or Steve Nash in the prime of his career? I mean, seriously. Kyrie Irving is a baller. He's unstoppable. He can get to the basket whenever he wants. Brandon Marshall, 31 years old today. Shaka Khan turns 62 years old. She old as Methuselah. Yes, sir. Yvette Marie Stevens. I didn't know she was that damn old. 62 years old. Shaka Khan was real fine back in the day, man. Big old tig old biddies. I mean, Shaka Khan was super fine back in the day. If you're a youngster, Google a young Shaka Khan. Right now, her and Aretha Franklin looking like old Shaka Khan and Aretha Franklin. But trust me on this. Shaka Khan was the bee's knees back in the day. Moses Malone is 60 years old. Happy birthday to Moses. And Maurice Jones-Drew, he just turned 30 years old today. So happy birthday to Maurice Jones-Drew, a.k.a. MJD. A little bit later in today's show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, a little bit later, I put up a couple of lists, and I debated on whether we should do most overrated athletes of all times. I kind of think we already did that before. And it's all subjective, man. And I pulled up a couple of lists, and it's strange to me, and it's real funny in looking at a couple of lists where people had some very prominent athletes as being overrated, and I disagreed with some of them. Some of them I agreed with, though. But I got one list in particular that I'm going to read you in the next segment where the guy or this media entity or whatever, they've got a player at the top of their list as far as most overrated that I had never heard anybody say before in my life. So stay tuned for that. We'll have that conversation in the next segment. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com talking about your Ballas and your Bustas from this past weekend. Also talking about the NCAA tournament. Are you like me? Do you think that it's all going to come down to Duke and Kentucky? Like, I really, in all honesty, in all seriousness, I don't see anybody beating Kentucky, not even in the finals. Like, they should win double-digit every single game. They didn't even shoot well this past weekend in the last game and progressing them to the next round of the playoffs, and they still won. And Calipari talked about that and the fact that even when they can have a bad shooting night, they can still win games. And their win over Cincinnati. Cincinnati really played great defense, and Cincinnati packed the box, the lane. So they had to make jump shots, and they weren't really making them. And they still won the damn game by 13 points. So I don't see anybody beating Kentucky, man. What are your thoughts on that? I would love to see them go up against Jahlil Okafor in the finals, man. I think that would be perfect. Great TV. You know, Coach K versus Calipari. I think that'd be fantastic. What are your thoughts on that? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. LaShore, Doug, you are on point with this rant. I feel the same way about him as a player. Detroit Matt, I think the only ones that won 2 MVPs so the NBA better their brand with Canada since Nash is Canadian. Conspiracy ninja. Might be. From Niner for Life. Remember how the Puppet Factory was pushing Sehorn like he was the new prime time? Jason Sehorn, I see where you're kind of going with this. Jason Sehorn was a good player, but, I mean, he wasn't, legendary good player. Miss Mocabella, Doug, you a hater. You really don't like Steve Nash. I'm fine with that. Bro McDowell, good job, D-Steve, on the TJMS this morning. Thank you, bro McDowell. Detroit Matt, I second that Suge Knight BPA. Sluggo, Suge has become the biggest drama king. Stop fainting in court. Like, what man faints? And now Suge has diabetes. I read this as well. Suge has diabetes, and he claims that he hadn't been given his diabetes medicine for like 3 or 4 days. But I hear you. But it's just very convenient that you fall out in court where they have to take your ass to the hospital where you get a nice cushy bed and some real good hospital meals as compared to jail meals. It's just very convenient, Suge. From Vince Wright, Ball Award to Wichita State, Harvey Scott Stu. What's with Teague, B. Horford lately? Yeah, Hawks struggle this weekend, man. Jersey Vern, Hawks is running out of gas. They can run out of gas all they want. They got plenty of time to get it together. Let me say that to you, quote-unquote, haters out there of the Atlanta Hawks. They got plenty of time to get it together because they are going to be the number 1 seed in the East. They are. So they're going to have home court advantage, and everything's got to come through Atlanta. Okay? Everything's going to come through Atlanta, and I think they got time to figure some things out. Coach Bud isn't the coach of the year, in my opinion, for no reason. Okay? Doing a fantastic job as coach, we'll see. And you just don't get off the bandwagon yet. From Max Jones III. Let's keep it real. Teams such as Wichita State, where players commit for 4 years, are going to beat these young teams with one-and-dones. Yeah, it's more possible today. Let me say that. It's much more possible today because you do have the mid-major teams that keep guys 3 and 4 years, and they get better. They coach them up. And continuity and chemistry is an issue for a lot of the bigger teams, the quote, major teams in college basketball, because of that continuity I just talked about. So, yeah, these things are going to happen more and more frequently in college basketball. That's just the lay of the land. That's just the way things are now in the sport. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. We get back an interesting, most overhyped sports athletes list of all times. And then I'm going to read some of your chat. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. This your boy, Doug Stewart, for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the metro Atlanta area, all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the number 1 thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5electronicsinc.com. That's System5electronicsinc.com.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I'd been talking about red rice, frogmore stew. Another one on the list, on number 13 on this list, is peanuts taste better boiled. Yes. And as God is my witness, my wife did not know people boiled peanuts and ate them. She did not. My wife's from Ohio. And yes, boiled peanuts, if cooked right, are the bomb.
Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
All right, so I got to clear something up. and I don't even know why anybody's mind would even work like this, but evidently it's becoming a topic of conversation. In the last segment, I was talking about boiled peanuts, okay, that come from out of the ground, not boiled peanuts. And so, evidently there's some talk in the chat room about Doug talking about boiled man parts. No, peanuts. I'm trying to say it as slow as I can. Peanuts, okay? What is it, P-E-A-N-U-T-S? Peanuts. No, man, not boiled peanuts. Come on, man. And I see Vern in here. Damn you, Vern. Ugh. Y'all know what the hell I was saying. This is the Doug Stewart Show. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7.
She do it all night. She going hard, right? She loves spotlight. She make that thing go.
If you're not stewing, what the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Drip, drippity, drop. That little girl on there, the girl on Empire, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and maybe Tree can remind me of her name. She's a youngin', but she was Hakeem's first girlfriend. She ended up being gay and liking other chicks. What was her name, Tree? You don't remember her name?
Tiana.
Fake Rihanna.
Because Lee Daniels couldn't come up with something more original.
Tiana is a little cutie pie, though. I'm going to say that. She is a little cutie pie. I don't know, and I got to say it real, cautiously, because I'm not sure if she's under 21 or not.
Pedophile alert. Right.
I don't want to sound like no perv. She's a little cutie pie. Ooh wee. Yes. We talked about Empire on TJMS this morning, man. Hey, come on, man. I want to talk Empire, too. They thought that was so cute. I was like, can we talk a little bit of Empire after I was done talking about sports? I had to do it, man. Quickly, man, Michael Sam worked out for this veteran camp thing that they had. All 32 teams were there. They were at the Cardinal Stadium in Arizona. This is all you need to know about this. And basically what it is a camp where guys that they feel still can play in the league, guys that have been injured over the last couple of years or guys that have been cut, still got a lot of football in them possibly. They get an opportunity to be looked at by scouts. And so Michael Sam was invited to this thing. And this is all you got to know about Michael Sam. He ran a 5.07 at this combine, okay? And then his final attempt, he ran a 5.1. The man ran a 4.91 at the combine. So all of this time that he hadn't been, playing football, because, he didn't play in the NFL last year. He was on a couple of practice squads with the Rams and with the Cowboys. All of this time when he dancing with stars and all this, that, and the other, clearly this man ain't been working. This man don't want to play football. How does your time go down when you have the opportunity of another chance, of a second chance in effect? The man's time went down in the 40. That's probably going to be it for him. I mean, because one thing I read about this camp was this was kind of a way for teams to get together and see players that normally they would fly in, and then in the first couple of minutes of them working out, they figure that this guy's still injured or this guy isn't healthy or something to that degree. And so they use this as kind of like a barometer to check guys off their list, as opposed to flying them there, and it'd be a big waste of time. Now they can check guys off this list, and the guys that they didn't check off, they're okay to take a second look at. In effect, that's what this was. So Michael Sam runs a 4.91 at the combine, and then months later, he's not playing football. Really, his entire day should be comprised of trying to get faster, quicker, and work on drills. So you would think he would be better, and that's not the case. He's actually slower. And like my wife said the other night on Dancing with the Stars when they showed that little clip of him running, he don't even run right. My wife was like, he don't even run right. So, I mean, he gets a Bust Award. He's nominated for a BP award this week. That's just a bad look, man. Dude, you don't really want to play football. Or maybe he saw that this is harder than he thought. That's why he's trying to do all these other things to accent his brand. And I'm not mad at him for that. I'm not mad at him for doing all this other stuff. But you got to remember, you doing these other things takes away from you getting better on the football field. And I don't think he's understood that or he doesn't get that. He should spend 8 hours a day either in the gym, on somebody's field, or track, something. 8 hours a day. Nah, he's spending hours dancing with stars, And I think technically he's the star, which really is not the case, but it's very funny, man. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. We got some new chatters in the chat room, man. Shouts out to everybody in the chat room for the first time. I kind of noticed these two names, Atlas Shore and that Texas Tide. Shouts out to y'all, man. Yeah, don't be quiet. Don't be a stalker. Be interactive. Be interactive. Jump in the chat, man, and be totally interactive on the Doug Stewart Show. Detroit Matt, Secrets and Lies is that deal. I'm going to check that show out as well. I talked earlier about American Crime. I think it's a pretty good show. I already know who did the murders, I believe. I think I got a great guess. Maybe I'll tell you about that later. Jungle Brother, Nash 2 MVPs, Kobe 0, BPA nomination to anybody trying to make a case for justifying that ish. Yeah, when you really break it down to the very last compound, think about it like this. Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash came into the league the same time. Okay? Kobe Bryant has 5 rings and skill-wise is right behind, and based on your perspective, slightly behind or even far behind Michael Jordan. And Kobe Bryant got NAM MVPs. And Steve Nash got 2? Come on, man. Come on, man. You're not going to hear fluff on this show. I'm sorry. I give credit where credit's due. And I also tell you when a player was tremendously overhyped. I will do that as well. The kicking it with Kissy. Hawks will be all right. A tough 3 losses, but the emergence of Dennis and Some other bench guys make me feel a lot more comfortable with our ability of going deeper into the playoffs. Hawks definitely going to the second round. I think Hawks are definitely going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Niner for life. I'm a little behind on American Crime. I was about to start watching. Then they announced Regina was on there. How is Secrets and Lies? I have 3 or 4 recorded. William Mack. I just got hip to Arrested Development this weekend on Netflix. Very underrated. Okay. Arrested Development. Okay. Scotty. Barnes Charkley gets a buster for giving props to a player on Kansas and said the player hasn't played for a month. Yeah, I read that story, and I didn't actually see the clip. In effect, Charles Barkley kind of referred to a player that actually hadn't been playing or something like that. Let me say this, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You know I'm not a fan of Charles Barkley. I'm just a person based on things he's done this past year. But Charles Barkley and Kenny and those guys that do NBA on a night in and night basis and not really college basketball, this isn't what they do. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest about it. The man made a mistake. Hell, I've made mistakes, obviously, in talking about sports for 2, 3, 4 hours a day over 12 years. All right? So I'm not mad. It happens. Put it like this. If you hinge on every word that somebody says, especially for, once again, this isn't his expertise. They're very uncomfortable out there. Now, I will say this. This year, him and Kenny have gotten a lot better, but you got to put it in perspective. And I know it sounds like I'm bumping for Charles Barkley, which I never thought I'd do in my lifetime. This isn't what they do. And clearly they aren't comfortable and they aren't as knowledgeable as college basketball as they are about the NBA. So I'm not going to really come down too hard for them. You just got to be more careful, man. From Vince Wright, what did Mike Sam do now? Coach Bill Royals, Ball Award for the Dayton Flyers for playing 6 games in 10 days. Ball Award to them, to the Dayton Flyers. Niner for life. Suge Knight passing out like the old lady in the front pew of the church. Pass out, then look around. Yeah. Vince Wright got caught up on American Crime, a little slow, but I'm invested in it now, so I'm going to watch. From Jungle Brother, Nash is a good player, but anyone calling Doug a hater because he said Nash don't deserve 2 MVPs is nominated for a BPA. I agree with you. Thank you. Kiss My Go to Hell. When I was Lil, I hunched a Jet magazine with Shaka Khan on it. Don't judge me. Yeah, I'm going to judge you, perv. William Mack. Shaka lost some weight, bro. Check her out now, and she could get that hip broken. Oh, I like that. I'm going to use that term. You can get that hip broken. Max Jones III. Hey, Rufus Days. Wow, gorgeous. KC, Doug, go from talking about church to tick old biddies. Laugh out loud. I mean, it happens. Ish happens. Big Chief. Yeah, first time I saw mimes in church, I thought I might be going straight to hell for crying, laughing at church. Scotty, Chaka Khan, back sexy. Texas Ty, I'd take Uncle Drew over old Nash any day. Oh, Uncle Drew is a baller. Kiss My Go to Hell. Why are mimes in church? Mimes are in church. They are these days. It's some type of new phenomenon. That and praise dancing, And the mimes, I understand, it's kind of adding like a little theatrical, type feel to service, and it's also teaching a message. I get that. The problem I have is pop locking. The problem I have is shabadoo up in church. Tree, you're on? Yes, thank you.
I cannot deal with you and your limited thoughts.
Okay. All right.
You think Jesus can't see you pop locking in the club? Oh, he can
that's
that's
the club, Tree, not the church. The church, I think, for some reason, I have a picture of church being much more reserved, not pop locking and breakdancing and windmills. It's kind of different for me.
This is why I'm in your life.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Did they do it each service? I came to one service yesterday.
So they did 3 different renderings, and at the last service, while all you
Tree, can you hold that thought? Coming up against the break. When we get back, I'm going to ask Tree It sounds like she was about to tell us another story about the mimes in church. I'm from the country. I'm very conservative in a lot of things. You might listen to this show and think that Doug Stewart is the ultra-liberal guy. I'm very conservative in a lot of things. Actually, I'm very conservative in a lot of things, a lot of different issues as well, socially and politically, And mimes in church, pass it off a wave, one mime to another. And if you've seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, you definitely get the Larry David references. But yeah, I don't know. All right, so we get back from the break, man. I am going to go over that list I told you that I read that was kind of interesting as far as most overrated athletes of all times. We'll do that. We'll read more of your chat. Continue to have fun and talk about these sports on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam.
The Doug Stewart Show.
The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show.
If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. I mean, sometimes we just keep it too real. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. It's a Man Talk Monday. Thank you so much for joining your boys. Your boy had a Two Live Stews flashback just now. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me say this, and I'm going to ask Tree to come back on for a second here. My family absolutely loves Impact Church. Let me just make sure and say that for the record. Impact is progressive, though. Okay? So I'm going to tell you, if you come there, just like me, they don't wear suits. They don't make it a culture where you have to wear suits. It's very casual. But a fantastic preacher, Olu Brown, fantastic preacher. And the best word is progressive. So I don't want anybody listening to the show thinking that I'm trying to diss Impact or whatever. I'm just giving you my perspective of a guy that came from an old school country church, and it's going to take a minute.
He's an on-time God. That's what you want.
Right. But my kids and my wife absolutely love the church, man. Shouts out to Impact Church. Shouts out. Now, I asked Tree to come back on. because she was telling me a story, a further story about the mimes. I mentioned this earlier in the show that the mimes really kind of freaked me out. But what happened in the later service, Tree?
So at the 12 o'clock, the mime became overwhelmed with just, I guess the sermon before moved him to share that he was he was cured of colon cancer, that he had become an alcoholic and really just wanted to take his life because he thought he was going to die anyway.
So how do you share that? How do you share the story? Like, give me the movements, how mimes did it, and how you share that.
Movements?
Okay.
He was singing. He started singing and talking.
What was that again?
He started singing and talking.
Whoa. The mime talked?
Yeah, you probably would have ran out of there.
The mime talked? Are you kidding me? That's a direct violation of mime-tum. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. Did he have his makeup still on his face?
Yes, and he could sing, too.
Tree, that's a direct violation of being a mime. You know that. He spoke? That's almost like a mascot coming out of character.
He spoke. It was very moving, but yes, it would have scared you.
Tree, do you know how many kids would just be, just destroyed if, say, I don't know, Ugga at UGA or Buzz, the mascot at Georgia Tech, just started talking? They'd be horrified. The mime talked? Oh,
Let's report him then, Doug. What do you want to do?
We got to call the National Association of Mimes.
I'm done with you.
We got to call the National Association of Mimes and tell them that one of their members broke the cardinal rule of miming. He spoke. This gets more and more creepy by the second. Oh, okay. I kid, but I care. Wow. You can't do that. You can't speak. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me. Y'all killing me with this chat, man. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, man. I'm old school and I'm country. And even though a lot of people around me dress casually, I dress casually because I don't put on a tie. I just can't go that far not to put on a suit and go into church. That's just me.
You look like Leroy Brown when you come to church. Your shoes and
that's what you wear at church, Tree. That's what you wear at church where I'm from. And I'm going to get it at some point. I'm going to wear some sneakers or something. And I actually we did the Impact pregame show this year. I actually wore jeans and a T-shirt, but we were outside. I felt real awkward when I walked inside the church lounge area. It's just, I didn't go inside the church per se.
Did you feel awkward when you walked to the bank?
No. Why you say that?
And I'm gone.
Okay, all right. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Make sure you follow the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group on Facebook. It's the after party. It's the party after the party on Facebook. So make sure you follow that. And also, today I shot you out your Twitter daily message, your fortune. So retweet that and get your lucky numbers and have a good time. That's at the Doug Stewart Show on Twitter or at Doug2, the number 2 live stews. Retweet that. You got to retweet it. Just don't read it. Retweet it and get some of this stew magic. Yes, sir. So I found this one list of overhyped, overrated athletes of all time. It's on Ranker, ranker.com. Some of the names I agree with. Some of the names I don't. They're top 5. They had Deion Sanders at number 5. And you know what that old argument is about Deion Sanders. He doesn't tackle. Here's my argument to those people that try to say Deion Sanders was overhyped. Deion Sanders didn't need to tackle, even though that thing is blown out of proportion as far as him not wanting to tackle. He didn't need the damn tackle. Yeah, who cares? Who cares if Deion Sanders? If your argument Deion Sanders is overrated because he wasn't, I don't know, freaking Rod Woodson or somebody out there like that, or Aeneas Williams as far as his tackling, then you might be a hater for real. Deion Sanders is the greatest cornerback ever to play the game. I mean, the greatest cornerback that ever played the game as far as my lifetime in the last 40 years. I don't know about some of the guys that played when I was very, very young in the NFL or whatever. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you the best cornerback in the NFL over the last 40 years is Deion Sanders. So I don't agree with that one. Then he had Pistol Pete Maravich as number 4. Don't remember Pistol Pete to even comment about him. Then he had Terry Bradshaw. Okay? I kind of get it. If you look at Terry Bradshaw's stats, they're very pedestrian. They just are. And he had a fantastic team around him. And they won games by defense. And he had Lynn Swann. And he had John Stallworth. His numbers are very abysmal. But he does have all of the rings. He does. So I don't know how much you can really hate. He was the quarterback that won all these Super Bowls for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I kind of get what he's saying as far as being overhyped and overrated on Terry Bradshaw. And then you look at who the guy has, or this website has, at number 2. And this is actually the first time that I've seen anybody on this scale agree with your boy. And that's Brett Favre. He has Brett Favre. Well, this website has Brett Favre at number 2. And for all the reasons of why I always criticize and say Brett Favre is overrated, because Brett Favre was an interception machine, okay? He was. Brett Favre would lose you a ring or lose you a game just as much as he'd win you a game, and probably even more so. Brett Favre, there's never been another quarterback that I've ever seen in my lifetime throw the ball in triple and quadruple coverage and expect something good to happen more than Brett Favre. There's never been. There's never been. He has 1 ring. But if you talk about Brett Favre and the annals of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the world, you would think he has 5. You would think he's freaking Tom Brady or Joe Montana or somebody like that. He's got 1 ring. So Brett Favre, I agree with the writer. Brett Favre, tremendously overrated. And here's the one that really, really kind of threw me for a loop. This service, this website, this writer, has Shaquille O'Neal as the number 1 overrated guy in sports history. All right, I'm gonna try to be unbiased about his thoughts on this. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. He goes on and on. This person putting together this list, this writer or whatever. He goes on and on about Shaq and. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait to talk about this because once again we're up against a break here, and I want to really delve into this a little bit more. Because some of the things he's saying, I might be biased because I'm a Shaq fan, but some of the things he's saying are very true. But then I'm going to make an argument about why I don't care in talking about Shaq. Some of the points he makes is somewhat true, and all of this conversation is coming from my, I guess you'd call it a rant earlier today about Steve Nash. I think Steve Nash is just tremendously overrated. 19 years in the NBA, stole a lot of money from my Lakers over the last couple of years, but just tremendously overrated. Great player. I'm not even saying a good player. Great player in Steve Nash, but not 2 MVP great. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to tell you the details of this Shaq thing on why he's so overrated in this guy's mind. Then we're going to read a lot of your chat. That's what we're going to do in the Doug Stewart Show. Any of your thoughts about the NCAA tournament? Who do you like going forward? Some of the upsets, some of the shockers. That's what we do on the Doug Stewart Show. We talk. We do talk. Don't go away. Keep it locked. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right. I said billions with a B. Okay? A B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobilized, optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their banner link on thedugstewartshow.com or the app link for more details. First of all, thank you for listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on The Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedugstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. If you're not stewing, what the heck are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Man Talk Monday. I see y'all really going off about the mimes in church, and I promise you, I didn't intend this. But once again, this is the place where keeping it real happens. And I'm not the only person. I'm not the Lone Ranger per se. I'm not the Lone Ranger. And mimes kind of freaking me out in church, okay? And I guess, once again, I try to be enlightened and open my mind up to new things. I do, but once again, I'm still a little country boy from Oakley, South Carolina. I am. So it's going to be hard. It's just not going to happen overnight. Pop locking mimes that talk in church aren't just going to be easily embraced. I'm sorry. But that's a real opinion. Let me tell you quickly about, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I was talking about this article I found on Ranker.com, and they ranked the top 5 most overrated athletes of all time. We've been talking about Steve Nash today, and I feel like Steve Nash is overrated. And number 1 on their list was Shaquille O'Neal. Let me kind of read some of this stuff they said about him and why they had Shaq in number 1. His free throw percentage was so bad that other teams made sending him to the foul line as part of their game plan. His best that's pretty much true. His best rebounding year was his rookie season, and he only got worse from there. His rebound average was less than half of Chamberlain and Russell, and considerably less than Jabbar and other notable centers. In fact, he never led the league in this category in his entire 19-year career. Huh? Wait a minute. Shaq never led the league in rebounding? And now it's hard to understand that and just materialize that in your mind because Shaq has always been, even when he got in the pros. The one time maybe he wasn't when he was in college at LSU and he played with Stanley Roberts, my homeboy. Shaq has always been the biggest person on the court, right? Shaq never led the league in rebounding, not 1 year? It's not a good look, bruh. It's not a good look. His field goal percentage was the second highest in history, but mostly because the only shot he could truly perform was a dunk shot. And therein lies the issue and the problem. I've always said it, kind of reminiscent of what I said about Deion Sanders, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I don't care if Deion Sanders tackled. He was so far and away the most dominant defensive back that we've ever seen as far as covering receivers. I don't care. Matter of fact, if Deion don't want to tackle, I'm fine with that. Okay? If Shaquille O'Neal can just dunk in your ass every single play, why are you mad? What reason do you have to be upset? Why would you be critical of a guy that, I don't know, probably averaged 25, 26 points a game for his career? I don't have it in front of me. And could dunk on you every single time. Do you really want to bring up all this other stuff, which is very alarming? I had no idea Shaquille O'Neal never led the league in rebounding. I never even thought about it because why wouldn't he? He's freaking Shaq. He's bigger than everybody else. Of course he would. So that's kind of alarming, but at the end of the day, doesn't the fact that he won so many rings and was so dominant and so unstoppable, doesn't that outweigh him being ranked at overall number one? See, you can't even make that argument with Steve Nash. Steve Nash don't have rings to fall back on. You feel what I'm saying? He didn't even go to a finals. Shaq went to the finals damn near every other year. Shaq went to the finals with Orlando. Shaq went to the finals with Miami. He went to the finals with the Lakers. He was a going to finals machine. So I don't think it's a good comparison if you're trying to compare Shaq and Steve Nash and some of their inadequacies and what they did as far as their careers. No, putting Shaq at number one as far as overrated is not right. Once again, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Once again, I had no idea the man never led the league in rebounding. I knew that he wasn't the greatest rebounder, but I never thought you could have put a gun to my head and bet me, and I would have said he would have led the league in rebounding at least one time. You know, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The guy played in the league for 19 years. So that does say, I think Shaq's, his priorities were in other places. His priorities were in dunking, winning championships, making movies, dancing, which, by the way, the new commercial with Shaq in it dancing with the other NBA legends or college basketball legends is tremendous. He trips me out on that. Shaq is a big fun guy, and I think that's where his priorities lied. Doing dirty work, Dennis Rodman type game, Ben Wallace type game, nah. I don't think he really cared too much about that. And I think if he would have cared about that he easily could have led the league in rebounding. If Shaq put effort into it, you know he would have led the league in rebounding. You know? So I don't know, man. I didn't really like that too much. 404-382-0338. What are your thoughts on that? Is Shaquille O'Neal overrated? Joe Namath is a guy that's been talked about as being overrated. Dan Marino's overrated. I kind of get both of those. Yeah, to a degree, I think Dan Marino is kind of overrated. To a degree, it's not really to a degree. I definitely agree with Joe Namath being overrated. I saw somebody sent me an email. They talked about Lynn Swann. Lynn Swann's numbers are very, very minuscule in comparison to a lot of the greats in the NFL. But you got to remember with Lynn Swann and back during that era, it was a different game. Okay? The running game had much more of an emphasis on it than today. And they throw the ball 60 times a game now. They didn't throw the ball that much back when Lynn Swann played. So for his era, I understand him being one of the greatest wide receivers ever. You know, does he stack up numbers-wise to receivers today? No. And you could kind of look at it as, you know, him getting into the Hall of Fame was probably due to the fact that he played for the dominant Steelers teams of the 70s. You could probably make an argument for that. But it's a different game today, man. It's a different game. From William Mack. I think we should allow people to express themselves, but I don't think certain liberties are taken at times and they go too far. And I guess he's talking about the whole mime thing. From Vince Wright. Mimes in church? Where is this? Tired of sisters passing out with the Holy Ghost power, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Jersey Vern, that's not church. KC, Doug might have metaphobia, the fear of mimes. The fear of mimes, yeah. I got some type of phobia. From Rough Buff, church has become a big production. Scotty, mimes are in church, freak me out. So a lot of you agree with me. Jersey Vern, those cowgirls is catching hell from the Hardy pickup. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Greg Hardy and Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys getting a lot of flack for signing Greg Hardy. From Leon, I was up in North Georgia mountains this weekend for a wedding. Boiled peanuts were being sold everywhere up there. Laugh out loud. Yes! And listen, boiled peanuts, boiled peanuts are definitely a Southern thing. Like, I know my man Vince living in Minnesota has never seen a damn boiled peanut in his life. I know he hasn't. But they're absolutely delicious. If you get some good ones, some real salty ones, they're just fantastic, man. Kiss my go to hell. Sam can be a good rotational player, but he ain't athletic worth a damn. He's just not athletic. He runs real stiff. He doesn't look like an athlete, man. And he had a fantastic career in college. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, but this ain't college. A lot of guys have had great careers in college, and it didn't translate to the NFL. Ronald Cameron, Steve Nash was a great shooter, and he led the league in assists a few times, but Shaq deserved the MVP in 2005. It's all about precedent for me with the Steve Nash thing, man. Do you know the company that Steve Nash is in, where you're talking about two-time MVPs? The company he's in is like the top 0.5% of basketball players in the NBA in his history. And Steve Nash just doesn't belong in that group to me. From Texas, from Texas Ty, Buster to Michael Sanford is 40. J.B. Jennings, this man don't want to play football. How you get slower if you're trying to make it? Yeah, you should at least get faster. I talked about that in the last segment. From William Mack, at this point, Sam is out there to make a point not to play ball. Sam been getting his penis boiled. Oh, y'all stupid. Y'all stupid. Sam been getting his penis boiled. Of course, he ain't running right. That's just wrong. That's wrong. That's from William. No, that's not from me. I gotta read through this thing a little bit more. Vince Wright, how can he go to a veteran combine? He wasn't even a rookie. That's true. That's a very good point. 5'7", 40-yard dash, lame. You got linebackers and defensive ends right now running 4.6s. You know, those are the times that running backs ran 20 years ago. Okay? 4.6? 4.6? That's flying. And that's what defensive ends are running right now. I think Javon Kearse, when he came out in the draft, 15 years ago, Javon Kearse ran like a 4.5. Okay? And Javon Kearse is a physical specimen and a beast. Yeah, that's just not a good look. Niner for life. With Sam running in ballet slippers, laugh out loud. Gerard, Doug, who would you rather have, Steve Nash or Jason Kidd? I'd rather have Jason Kidd. That's not even close. I had to think about it for a second. I wanted to make sure. I would rather have Jason Kidd. And I looked at a couple of different lists. You know, I love lists on the Doug Stewart Show. I looked at a couple of different lists, and most of the lists had Jason Kidd ranked higher than Steve Nash. Now, a lot of lists had Steve Nash like top 10, like 9, 10. And no, there's a lot of guys that don't even get talked about in regards to, like I mentioned earlier about Sam Cassell. If you really looked at it and you had Sam Cassell standing on the sideline of the playground and Steve Nash, and you know their games, you know what their games are about, you know, I find it hard to believe that I would take Steve Nash over Sam Cassell. And I know that sounds blasphemous, but it's real. It's real. That's how far down I'll put Steve Nash, you know, as far as guys I would take to start my franchise with or run my team with. Steve Nash is a great, great system player. I really wish we could have seen him on a team that he didn't run that D'Antoni system. Remember now, when he came to the Lakers, D'Antoni was his coach. Okay? So he still was running that system. Didn't do great, injuries, you know the story. But I would have loved to have seen him on a more conventional offense. Oh, yeah, we did see him on a more conventional offense. It was in Dallas. Okay? So his years that he was dominant, quote-unquote dominant, was under that Mike D'Antoni system. I mean, there's no denying it. That's a fact. Okay? I would have loved to have seen him in his later years or maybe leaving Phoenix and going to a team where he just had to run your basic offense, that most teams do. And see what type of player he would have been. Once again, we saw Jeremy Lin flourish in this for a couple of weeks. Where's Jeremy Lin now? And I'm a guy that loved Jeremy Lin for that couple of weeks in New York. But Jeremy Lin's he's an okay starter in the NBA, more times than not a backup. More of your chat up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. System 5 Electronics is proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's just a few reasons to choose System 5. Not only is their monitoring station located here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, you own your security alarm system once it's installed. Not only have they been around for almost 25 years, but their customer service is excellent. And you get direct access to the owner, Mr. Maceo Brown, to resolve any issues with your alarm system. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736. And make sure and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got you back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. I mean, we're 30 minutes into it now, but welcome back to the second hour of the Doug Stewart Show. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is when the show airs. Make sure you tell people. I mean, I got to ask you a question, man. If you're new to the show, are you not entertained? I mean, come on. And this is how it is every day. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Or dying, however that saying goes. So, yeah, I've been really reading a lot of chat, man, talking about these sports. Got to talk about OKC and Russell Westbrook. He does it again. I mean, that boy is a baller. That boy is a baller. And also got to find some time to talk about Greg Hardy. But let me read some more of this chat. I really appreciate the chat. The chat makes the show what it is. Totally interactive. Totally interactive. So, from that ninja, and we've been talking all day about overrated guys. I got to finish talking to you or get your thoughts on the list that I read earlier about overrated athletes. All of this came from a conversation, a Dougie Daly type question on overrated athletes and Steve Nash retiring. So that's where we got all of that talk from, all right? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. But the chat is on fire right now on Spreaker.com. Make sure you follow the show on Spreaker. Jump in the chat. Be totally interactive. And also, when you get a second, download the Doug Stewart Show app. Make sure you do that. You need to do both. You need to jump on Spreaker, but you also need to have the Doug Stewart Show app as a backup. So download it from the App Store and keep it on your phone or whatever, and always be ready to listen to the Doug Stewart Show on Spreaker.com. From That Ninja. Doug, my wife hates praise dancing. She said it's a lot of women living out their childhood dream of dancing or choreographing. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And look, I'm not down in these things. I'm just saying, because I really want to be careful about this because, people are very sensitive about church, as we've learned over the last couple of weeks in talking about Creflo Dollar. And I don't want to be totally judgmental. What I'm saying, for the record, is praise dancing and mimes in church, pop locking, is just a little bit, different. It's going to take some time to get used to for me. That's all I'm saying. And maybe you ask me this question a year from now, I'll be like, oh, man, I love mimes. I love mimes pop locking. I do. I love it. But what I'm saying right now, I don't know. Detroit Matt. I was at a funeral 2 weeks ago, and a mime was at the funeral. Huh? It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Whoa. Oh, I don't know which one's more crazy, a mime speaking or a mime at a funeral. Tree.
Yes.
A mime at a funeral?
Oh, God.
What's the connection? What's the connection?
Maybe that person could have requested that. We don't know.
And you know what, man? And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show.
Distracting. See, that's something else.
That's too much. Like my grandmama used to say, she used to say, Doug and Ryan, she used to say, y'all just doing too much. You're doing too much. Mimes at a funeral. You know what else? Speaking of funerals, you know what else I'm not a fan of? Let me say this. I'm not a fan of it. I got to be real careful because I don't want to step on some toes because I know people that have done this. You know what I don't like and what I don't get in 2015? I don't like people taking pictures at a funeral. And I don't like that. I don't think that's cool. And then not only that, they take pictures at a funeral and they'll put them up on social media. I just think that's tacky, man. If you've ever done this, and I'm not trying to dish you or whatever. That's not cool. That's not cool. And I am talking to you, I guess. That's kind of tacky. Are you okay with people taking pictures at a funeral and putting it on Facebook, Tree?
I think that there needs to be a filter. If you need some Facebook etiquette, maybe you could come up with the Doug Stewart Show's Facebook etiquette.
Yeah, maybe I could. And you know what else? Speaking of Facebook, you know what else I don't like about Facebook and that type of conversation? Yeah. I don't like when people, or I don't get, when people put information about someone in their family dying, a friend of theirs dying on Facebook, and then I look over and they got like 300 likes. What do you like? You like that my family member died?
It's support. Like, maybe they need to get a thumbs up logo. I don't know. No, I don't know. That wouldn't be appropriate either. Let me stop.
Right, it's not appropriate. Like if somebody posts something on Facebook about a family member dying, I think you should only list comments. Like, you should only give your condolences, prayers for the family. But I always find it kind of odd. And I don't know if people even realize it. Like, that's kind of contradictory. They just died, so this isn't a happy occasion. Why are you hitting you like it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like George Wallace. I just be thinking too much. From Texas Ty. Shouts out Texas Ty. New chatter. Can't imagine what it would have looked like if he acted out his story. Mind problems. Yeah. Tree told a story earlier about one of the mimes, told a real inspirational, kind of like a testimony after on the next service after I left yesterday. From Bussa. Real talk. Can a mime use sign language? I would think that's in bounds. I would think. Just as long as they don't talk. When you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, Tree mentioned earlier how one of the mimes at church actually spoke. And I thought that was clearly breaking the mime law. It has to be. Yeah, you got to get your mime, membership revoked if you speak. I mean, seriously. What if the elephant mascot at Alabama just started talking one day? That'd freak you out, man, especially kids.
Didn't Sybil tell you this morning that you overthink everything?
I guess I do. And I couldn't hear.
Come on.
I was trying to, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I kind of got cut off at the end because I had a lot more material I wanted to get out. And Sybil was defending. I guess she took offense that I had issues with transition on Empire. Is that what it was? I couldn't tell because I was trying to talk over her. I couldn't tell. Shouts out to you, Sybil, on the TJMS. From Gary Joyner. What kind of mime speaks? No mime that I've ever seen in my life. Right. Texas Tie. First rule of Mime Club, don't talk. Y'all are on fire today with this chat. Scotty. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Scotty said he was miming his business. Oh, KC, BPA to that mime. That ninja. KC, or JB Jennings, I'm sorry. Mime talking, WTF. Scotty, how can mimes be accepted in church yet clowns could be considered demonic in some religious circles? I didn't know that. I tell you what, clowns freak me out too, but I didn't think they had anything to do with the devil. From Gerald, I wonder if mimes will have an Easter speech this year. Yeah, man. Yeah, they gotta cut that off. Are you a fan of the great Andy Griffith Show? You remember that famous line? I can't remember what exactly Barney was talking about, but you gotta nip that in the bud. Barney just kept using that term. You gotta nip it, Andy. You gotta nip it in the bud. You gotta nip it in the bud. We gotta nip in the bud mimes talking. We just have to. I mean, what next? What next? And clearly that mime got his card revoked. From Scotty. Yep, Ninja, it was crazy as hell to see one brother with facial hair and the other one with makeup and lipstick on. Strange as hell. Oh, man, y'all are absolutely killing me with the chat today, man. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Kiss my go to hell. Madden also slurped and slobbed all on Favre every chance he got. Yeah. They definitely, John Madden, analysts that called games, they definitely bought into the Brett Favre brand. They definitely did that to a point where it was almost kind of like Dickie V and Duke. Like it was over the top, you know? And this is the same thing I'll say about Brett Favre as I said about Steve Nash. Great player. Great player for the most part, but not that great. You know, not to be in the conversation. He has the stats, had the career record as far as games, consecutive games played, but that doesn't mean you should be in the same conversation with Joe Montana and Tom Brady. No, I'm sorry. All right, man, this is the fastest show on turf, man, the Doug Stewart Show. One segment left. Unbelievable how fast this show goes. When we get back, I'm going to quickly talk to you about Greg Hardy and what's going on in Dallas. And I'll also talk to you a little bit about, give kudos, I guess, in the Ball Award to OKC and Russell Wilson, or Russell Westbrook in particular. All right? Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
So, I'm probably 6. So, Jesse Bryant rolls by, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He rolls by in his truck, and for some reason, something in my mind says, pick up a rock and throw it at Jesse. And I hit his truck. And not only did I hit his truck, it was a damn good throw and aim because it hit his windshield and it cracked his windshield. So he stops and jumps out of the truck. I don't think anybody saw me, but he jumps out and, Isaac, so your grandson hit my truck with a rock. They had a little conversation. I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And sure enough, my grandfather walks up and sees this nick on the windshield. And Jesse rolls away, and I know I'm in trouble. My daddy not around, my mother not around, and my grandfather reaches down, and this is God is my witness. Strike me down right here. My grandfather reaches down and pulls off a branch from a rose bush. Yes, just drags his arm and pulls off the leaves. Thorns are still applied to said switch. You get your ass whooped with a switch is bad enough, but a thorny switch? Oh my gosh. So he commences to busting my ass with a thorny switch. Yes. And you know I was marked up from head to toe. Now, that's probably child abuse. Not saying that what Adrian Peterson didn't do was child abuse either, but that was child abuse. That's a deadly weapon. And this is no lie. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. All right, so I got to rename today's show the Mime Show. I like doing stuff like this, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining me. Great day, as usual. I like talking about stuff. Obviously I love talking about sports, but sometimes in sports there aren't a lot of great big stories going on, and you just get analyzation till the cows come home. You can only hear it but so many times one way. In particular, talking about these games this past weekend in the NCAA tournament. So, but conversations and talk about things that deal with your family. Like I remember one time I told a story, and I love telling stories, as you can tell. I told a story about, and this is crazy now, my daughter's first time getting on the bus. And people that are listening to the show right now and remember the Two Live Stories when I told that story and how it just absolutely broke my heart when my daughter got on the bus. When she's 5 years old, 6 years old at the time, and now she's graduating this year. That's crazy. And she got on the bus, and she's little, and she doesn't know anybody. She got on the bus stop by herself. And she got on the bus, and she walked, and there was no seats. And there was a seat, like I think it was available, and she tried to sit down, and the little kid wouldn't let her. Like I wanted to get on there and choke the ish out of that kid. And I was like, it was almost like if I was more sensitive, if I was more Michael Samish, I probably would have cried. And I was just getting mad. And she walked up and down the aisle, and she finally found the seat, man. I was so mad, and it broke my heart so much. But people identify with that story so much, and years after the fact, they'll bring up that story. How's your girl, how's your baby girl Kayla doing? I remember the story you told about the first time she got on the school bus and how it broke your heart. So people identify with this stuff. So this little conversation we're having about, mimes and the advent of mimes and pop locking in church and how it's just different, but people can relate because they probably went through the same scenario at one point in their life over the last couple of years. So I absolutely love these type stories. I do. And when football season's not in, there's a lot of other stuff that we can get to that you like talking about. Daily stuff, entertainment stuff, family stuff, once again. So we have that liberty on this show. It's the Doug Stewart Show. All right, it's the Doug Stewart Show. There's an emphasis on sports, but really it's guy talk. It's whatever you're talking about, the water cooler. It's fun. I like to have fun. I remember one thing as well, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, is people always love the fact that we were lighthearted. The Two Live Stews, we were lighthearted. We had fun. And I kind of took that from my time listening to radio before I started doing it, I got too much problems. I got a lot of things going on in my life. I ain't trying to tune into nothing where you ultra serious and you take yourself so damn serious. So I kind of, made sure that we always had fun. It was, cracking jokes. We doing bits, reading a lot of emails, a lot of chat, and just make it fun for 2 hours. Let all those other people do all the serious stuff, man. And sometimes we get serious, but, I really just temper it to a large degree. It's all about fun, man. I ain't trying to listen to nobody for a couple hours and all the time. They always just talking about politics of these real heavy issues. It ain't about that. That's not what you're going to get on the Doug Stewart Show. I'm just going to tell you. So you're going to get a lot of cutting up. You're going to get a lot of conversation about mimes pop locking. That's what you're going to get. That's exactly what you're going to get, man, on the Doug Stewart Show. Seriously, that's exactly what you're going to get. Quickly, man, Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings, who's a big Cowboy fan, obviously, man, he says that he's not in favor of the Cowboys signing Greg Hardy. Now, I gave you my thoughts on this, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I don't have a problem with it at all. For whatever reason, whether he paid off this young lady or not to press charges or continue with the suit against him or not, the case has been thrown out. And the man has, he's free. He's free to go on and live his life. So I don't have a problem with that at all. And also, there's a part of me that believes and always really have this mindset is, people deserve second chances, okay? And in my mind, Greg Hardy is going to be walking on eggshells. Like, if he were to do anything reminiscent, even close to reminiscent of these charges he was accused of, then he deserves everything he gets. I think that if there was some truth to his side of the story, and that all these things that this young lady said weren't actually true, then I think he's just going to be just your perfect citizens for the rest of his life. And if that's the case, the Dallas Cowboys got him a great player. So I totally get it. I totally understand. I understand both sides, actually. I understand people that are very critical of men hitting on women, being upset and saying they wouldn't take time or wouldn't take a chance on them. I understand that totally. I also understand the Dallas Cowboys side of it as well. They're very they've got a lot of safety provisions in the deal for Greg Hardy where, they could get rid of him at any time. Bonus money or anything like that. So it's a win-win for everybody, man. So we'll see what happens with that. And also, man, shots out to the Oklahoma City Thunder, man, and not Kevin Durant, or Russell Westbrook. Shouts out to him. He gets a ball award. Another triple-double. His 10th triple-double this year. 12 points, 10 boards, 17 assists for a second consecutive triple-double, man. He's back on that triple-double thing and just balling out of control. So congratulations to him. Right now they got a pretty good hold on that A seed, man. And we kind of talked about it last week, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Don't be surprised Enes Kanter had a great game on yesterday as well. Don't be surprised if OKC beats Golden State in the first round. Don't be surprised at all. Even though they probably aren't going to have Kevin Durant, Enes Kanter played fantastic yesterday. If they get healthy, OKC could very well beat Golden State in the playoffs, a 1-versus-8 matchup. So shouts out to Russell Westbrook and to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let me read more of this chat. That ninja, how about George Mikan being overrated? Not sure. Don't remember George Mikan's game. Niner for life. Deion didn't tackle like Shaq couldn't hit free throws. Yeah, Deion could tackle, man. That's just overrated conversation. Ronald Cameron, what? Shaq number 1. Shaq is one of the 5 best centers of all time. I would side more with you, Ronald Cameron. He should have more than 1 MVP, but he was unstoppable in his prime. And that's the bottom line. He was unstoppable. I always used to get in this argument with people about Shaq, and they'll say, well, he can't shoot jump shots. And I'll say to them, why the hell should he shoot jump shots? It's a higher percentage shot to dunk on your ass. Why would he shoot a jump shot? Why would he even, in effect, try to perfect or get better at shooting jump shots? That's a lower percentage shot. If you can dunk on people at will, why would you shoot a jump shot? That's just dumb. It's just dumb when you think about it. Scotty, Favre was a lovable, I'm not going to use that term, that the media love. He put on the all shucks act and they ate it up. Which I said that a couple of weeks ago. Brett Favre wasn't that country or that naive acting as you would want him to be. Brett Favre knew what the hell he was doing in this game that he was putting on, this face that he was putting on, this innocent country dude. Whatever, man. William Mack, Madden's man crushing Favre made him a legend. Madden made him into a cartoon hero. Yeah, a lot of the affinity for Brett Favre, I do believe you can trace it back to John Madden. I do. He loved Brett Favre. Madden loved Favre. You can tell. Like, Madden's love for Favre was the exact same love as Dickie V's for Duke. The exact same. From Harvey Scott. That's blasphemy for anybody to say prime time is overrated. That shut down the entire side of the field. Come on, son. It is blasphemy. Scotty, Shaq, that isn't a good look. If they call Shaq overrated, then George Mikan should be the poster child for overrated. That ninja Doug, if you criticize Dwight, how could you not criticize Shaq for lack of a low post moves and effort? Shaq won championships, though. Shaq won championships, and Shaq was so dominant. Dwight Howard, in comparison to Shaq in the paint, isn't the same thing. Dwight, to me, is almost kind of like a power forward playing center. Dwight Howard was kind of light in the ass. And even Shaq, if you want to talk about comparisons as far as low block moves, Shaq's moves are still better in the low post than Dwight Howard's right now. And he really didn't even have to do it. He really didn't. Who's got better low post moves? Shaquille O'Neal at the height of his career or Dwight Howard? I would say Shaq, easily. Ronald Cameron, Shaq had some post moves. That's right. Thank you. JB Jennings, Doug will never scrutinize Shaq the way he does Dwight because he was an all-time Laker great and helped his team win rings. That might be some truth to that. From Brum McDowell, regardless as to how physically dominant Shaq was back in the day, it's damn near impossible to have a respectable amount of offensive rebounds when you're double and triple teamed constantly. If your offensive rebounds are hampered, it's very difficult to lead the NBA in overall rebounds. That's a very good point. Because he was double teamed so much on the offensive side of the court, it probably negated from his offensive rebounds, which in turn negated from his total rebounds in the game and for his career. So that kind of does make sense, bro, McDowell. Scotty, hey, Doug, is Mateen Cleaves really a steak thrower? And for people that don't know what the term steak thrower is you remember in Droopy, it was this cartoon with Droopy and the dogs, they used to go chasing after the hounds, and to get them off their tracks, they throw a steak. Just to get them off the trail, they throw a steak out, and the dogs would just run straight towards the steak. And that's a steak thrower. So a steak thrower, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. We came up with this, 10 years ago on the Two Live Stews. A steak thrower is somebody that wants you to believe there's somebody else. So they want to get you off the trail of who they really are. You get me? In this conversation, as it pertains to Mateen Cleaves, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's move on. That ninja, Dan Marino, is underrated. Rings are a team accomplishment. Marino played the position well. I agree with that point as far as rings being a team accomplishment, and I kind of temper my conversation about it with that in mind. I do. But what I'll say is, when I said earlier, I think that Dan Marino, I could look at him and understand people saying that he's overrated. In the grand scheme of things, Dan Marino had a cannon arm. Brett Favre had a cannon arm. But you have to add in other variables as well, and that's getting to Super Bowls and winning Super Bowls. Dan Marino doesn't have any. He didn't win any Super Bowls. So I don't really think you could have Dan Marino in the conversation with guys that got 4 or 5 rings. I don't think that is right. I don't. Just like I don't think it's right for Steve Nash to be in the conversation with guys that got multiple MVPs and those guys being the greatest players that basketball has ever seen. I just don't think so. Yeah. I just don't think so, man. And we're going to keep it real on this show. That's all I got. That's all I got is the real factor. That's all I got. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Man, we're getting out of here a little bit later today. I mean, if I could read this chat, over 700 chat messages. Thank you. Yes, sir. Damn. All you got to do is talk about mimes, I see, huh? Yeah, that's all you got to do is just talk about mimes in church. Pop locking and whatnot. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow. Shouts out to Tree. Thank you, Tree, for all that you did today. Shouts out to Waterhead Walter. Dwayne Bassan, Gerald Oliveri, thank y'all so much for doing what you do. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same Doug Stewart Show time. Same The Doug Stewart Show channel. Peace.